Florida, November 17, 2011. It was supposed to be just another normal day for Michelle Parker, a vibrant 33-year-old mother of twins. Little did anyone know, this day would mark the beginning of a mystery that has baffled investigators, gripped the media, and left her loved ones in agonizing limbo for over a decade. Michelle, full of life and loved by her family, had her daily routine. But on that particular day, something unusual happened. An episode of the popular TV show, The People's Court, aired, featuring her and her ex-fiancé Dale Smith. The episode centered around a missing engagement ring, an argument that highlighted the rocky relationship between Michelle and Dale. They had a history, one fraught with tension, domestic disputes, and broken promises. Yet, when the cameras stopped rolling, the drama was far from over. That very day, after the show aired, Michelle Parker vanished without a trace. Michelle's last known whereabouts were just hours after the airing of The People's Court. She had dropped off her young twins at Dale Smith's house and was expected to return home soon after. But she never made it. The Parker family quickly became concerned when they couldn't reach Michelle, and panic set in when her phone went silent. A search was launched, but the trail quickly turned cold. Michelle's black Hummer H3 was found abandoned in an Orlando apartment complex parking lot, but there was no sign of struggle or any clue as to what had happened. Days later, her cell phone was found submerged in a lake, further complicating the investigation. Despite this evidence, there was no sign of Michelle herself. No body, no definitive answers, only a growing sense of dread. Investigators immediately turned their attention to Dale Smith. He was the last person to see her alive, and the pair had a tumultuous history. Court records showed a history of domestic violence, with Smith having been convicted in a previous incident. It wasn't just his past that raised eyebrows. His demeanor after Michelle's disappearance also raised suspicions. However, despite multiple interrogations, Smith was never formally charged. The lack of concrete evidence left investigators without the proof they needed to make an arrest. The clock was ticking, and every moment without Michelle felt like an eternity. Michelle Parker and Dale Smith's relationship had always been tumultuous. They met several years prior and had an intense, on-again, off-again relationship. Together, they had twins, a boy and a girl. And though they tried to make things work for the sake of their children, it was clear from the start that their relationship was built on shaky ground. There were accusations of abuse and heated arguments, both behind closed doors and in the public eye. Friends and family of Michelle often worried about her well-being, sensing that something wasn't right between the two. But like many complicated relationships, Michelle stayed, hoping things would improve, especially for the sake of her children. Things took a public turn when the two appeared on the People's Court to settle an issue over a missing engagement ring, which Michelle had thrown during one of their many arguments. This TV appearance was supposed to be a lighthearted moment of conflict resolution, but instead, it revealed the depth of their problems to the world. On the surface, their appearance on the show seemed like just another dispute between exes. But for those who knew them well, the tension ran deeper. There was more than just a lost ring. There was anger, frustration, and years of unresolved issues between them. And it all played out on national television, exposing the fractures in their relationship for everyone to see. As the investigation into Michelle's disappearance unfolded, suspicion naturally fell on Dale Smith. He was, after all, the last known person to see her alive. But there were other complexities at play. Despite their contentious relationship, there was no definitive evidence linking him to her disappearance. Smith cooperated with police, answering their questions and allowing his home to be searched. Yet, something seemed off. Those who knew Michelle believed she would never leave her children behind, especially not willingly. Her disappearance felt like more than a runaway situation. It felt deliberate. But was it a crime of passion, or was someone else involved? Investigators combed through every lead, hoping to find a breakthrough. They retraced Michelle's steps on that fateful day, reviewed hours of footage from the People's Court, and interviewed everyone who had interacted with her in the days leading up to her disappearance. But every lead seemed to result in a dead end. The discovery of Michelle's cell phone in a lake further complicated the case. Had someone dumped it there to mislead investigators? Or had Michelle herself thrown it away in desperation? The questions mounted, but answers remained elusive. Her vehicle, found abandoned without any obvious signs of struggle, added to the mystery. Why would Michelle vanish without a trace? Where could she have gone? Despite the lack of hard evidence, many in Michelle's circle believed Dale Smith knew more than he was letting on. There was a sense that Smith's calm exterior during the investigation hid a deeper, more sinister truth. But without a confession or physical evidence, the police could do little but keep a close watch. Smith's criminal record only fueled suspicions. His past domestic violence conviction and history of volatile relationships painted a troubling picture. Michelle's family was convinced he was involved, but proving it would be a challenge. The media followed the story closely, and soon it became a national headline. Despite the intense scrutiny, Smith maintained his innocence, insisting he had nothing to do with Michelle's disappearance. The investigation continued to circle around him, but the lack of evidence prevented any significant legal action. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged about what happened to Michelle Parker. Some believe that Dale Smith, in a fit of rage or desperation, harmed Michelle after the TV show aired, unable to control his emotions after their public airing of grievances. Others wonder if Michelle's disappearance was a planned escape, though that theory seems unlikely given her deep connection to her children and family. Another theory points to the possibility of a third party being involved, someone who had been watching Michelle or knew her routine. Could it have been a random act of violence or a calculated abduction? The truth remains buried under layers of speculation and unanswered questions. Michelle's family has remained vigilant in their search for answers. Her mother, Yvonne Stewart, has tirelessly advocated for her daughter, keeping her story alive in the media and pleading with the public for any information. Every year that passes without closure only deepens the wound for those who love Michelle. As time marched on, Michelle Parker's case grew colder, but the hope of finding her has never faded. Her family continues to search for answers, refusing to give up on the possibility that one day they might discover the truth. With each passing year, the pain of not knowing weighs heavier on their hearts, but they cling to the belief that Michelle's story isn't over yet. Despite the frustration and heartbreak, there have been moments of hope, small leads that seem promising, only to end in disappointment. The public's fascination with the case has also kept it in the spotlight, with true crime enthusiasts and armchair detectives speculating about what could have happened. But as the years have gone by, the details have become more elusive, and the reality of solving the mystery has grown dimmer. The vanishing of Michelle Parker remains one of Florida's most haunting unsolved mysteries. The unanswered questions, the suspicious circumstances, and the tragic loss of a mother and daughter have left a scar on the Orlando community. Michelle was a bright, loving woman with so much life ahead of her, and her sudden disappearance is a reminder of how fragile and unpredictable life can be. Her family continues to hope for closure, for a chance to say goodbye properly, and for justice to be served. Until that day comes, Michelle Parker's story will remain an open wound, one that refuses to heal until the truth is finally uncovered. In the world of true crime, not all stories have a satisfying conclusion. Some, like Michelle's, are left suspended in time, with only shadows of what might have been. But even in the absence of answers, there is always hope. For Michelle's family, that hope is what keeps them going. And for those who follow her case, it serves as a reminder that justice may still be on the horizon.